Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In today's video, I want to go over the new PS4 jailbreak for System Software 12.02. The process is fairly simple and fairly easy to set up, and it shouldn't take you about a few minutes to get everything up and running. But before you begin the process, please check the description box below for all of the necessary files or applications in order to do the jailbreak. I'm also going to include System Software 12.02 if you need to upgrade. And I'm also going to include a buyer's guide in order to get an Artemis game to do the jailbreak as well. At this point, before we start the jailbreak, what we want to do is go to settings, go to network, set up an internet connection and make sure your internet is turned on. And you can select between Wi-Fi or LAN. I'm going to use LAN on my side. I'm going to select customs. I'm going to select automatic, do not specify. And from our DNS settings, I am going to use manual. As you guys can see in the background, this is the primary DNS settings that I have put in. And for my secondary, I'm going to leave it with all of the zeros. The reason why you want to set up the primary DNS is to block a connection from Sony to your jailbroken console. So at this point, you're going to hit automatic, do not use. You can test the internet connection if you want to, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to system information. And as you guys can see right here, I'm on System Software 12.02 and this is my IP address. So with the IP address, please make a note and write it down because you are going to need it on the second half when you go to your computer to set up the applications. At this point, we need to decide how we plan to get the Artemis save onto our console in order to start the first half of the jailbreak. Now you do have two methods you can use. You could use the backup and restore feature, and this simply will wipe your console to the factory settings, but it will install Artemis save to your console. You will only use this if you do not have access to your profile to copy saves over. Also, purchasing a brand new PS4 to do the jailbreak, you could use this feature and just install the Artemis save immediately and you're good to go. The second way you could do it, the way I did it, I have access to my profile where I can copy saves over. You will use Save Wizard, select the actual Artemis save and reassign it to your profile. Take the USB drive once it's done, go and copy it over to your system storage and upload it to your console. Once that's done, you could simply just run the Artemis game and it will start the first half of the jailbreak for you, which is the Lua Loader. At that point, then you will have to do the second half, which is go over to your computer and set up the applications to work properly to finish out the jailbreak. As you guys can see in the background, I have IxSHE as far as my game is concerned in order to start up the first half of the jailbreak, and I'm able to copy it over to my console. That's because at some time ago, I did have the ability to go and log into PSN with my jailbroken console to activate this feature. But if you do not have access to copy saves over to your console, don't worry, just use the backup and restore feature, but it will wipe everything off your console and reset it, but the actual Artemis save that you need to do the jailbreak will be on your profile. So at this point from here, what I'm going to do is switch over to my computer and show you guys the second half of me setting up the jailbreak to show you everything is working properly. Now at this point, as you guys can see in the background, I'm on my computer. On the left hand side of the page, I already started up the first half of the jailbreak, and then once it loaded, it started up the Remote Lua Loader. And on the right hand side of my actual screen, you can see my desktop of my computer. And as you guys can see, I already have everything set up. In order for you guys to begin the process, you are going to need to download PS4 Hen, the Lua Saves, Netcat Gui version 1.3, and the PS Remote Lua Loader. After that, the first thing you want to do is click inside the Lua Saves, and we need to select the save that is compatible with your Artemis game. For me, it's IxSHE and mine is CUSA 17112, and we are going to compress this save so that it's recognized by Save Wizard so that it could be re-signed to my profile. As you guys can see, I'm doing this in the background, and then at this point, once this is done, we are going to open up Save Wizard and reassign that save to my profile to put on my console in order to run IxSHE and get the Remote Lua Loader running. As you can see in the background, my save wizard is already open. I'm going to select import the compressed save, hit open, click on the save, and then you should see the save data. Click on that and hit import, and at this point it's just going to reassign the save to my profile, which is Mr.Uknowwho, and at this point it will be on my USB stick, and I will just copy it over to my console, and then I'm good to go. Like I said to you guys before, I already did this process in advance, but I still want to show you how it's supposed to go if you use Save Wizard. Fairly simple, fairly easy. It only takes a couple of seconds to reassign this save to your profile, and you should be good to go after that. Once the save is on your console, and then you can actually run your Artemis game, you should automatically be on the screen with the Remote Lua Loader if it's an auto save. If it's a save where you have to load it, you just gotta load it. It still will load up and go to the Remote Lua Loader, and it's running in the background. Now at this point, what we need to do is set up the PS Remote Lua Loader. As you guys can see in the background, mine is already set up. If you just open this application for the very first time, what we need to do is install Python to our computer. Now you can click on tools and click on Python to install this version, but I highly recommend for you guys to go to the Microsoft Store instead and install the latest version from there. As you guys can see in the background, I am going to go to the Microsoft Store and show you guys real quick. And the Python that I installed was 3.13, and it only took a couple of seconds to install. Once this is done, then we can continue setting up the PS Remote Lua Loader. So at this point, I'm just going to close this down real quick. From here, we're going to go to where it says PS IP, and we're going to put in the PS4 IP address here. Now, if you don't know your PS4 IP address, to simply turn on the internet, go to System Information, and it will show you your PS4 IP address. Then from here, what we are going to do, where it says CMD, make sure it says true, and where it says PS, select PS4. And then at this point, we are going to click on the button that says Save IP, so that it saves our console IP address to the Remote Lua Loader. And then from here, what we are going to do is click on the lapse, and a CMD window will pop open. At this point, you're just going to let this run, press any key to continue, and then we are going to select bin loader, and another CMD window will pop open. And as you guys will see on the left hand side of my console, you will see the payload is being sent. And then at this point, the CMD window, you could just minimize this real quick. And then at this point, what we are going to do is set up the Netcat GUI. Now we are going to go inside PS4 Hen and select Hen for System Software 12.02 and drag that bin file inside of Netcat GUI. And then at this point, we are going to put in one more time the PS4 IP address inside of Netcat GUI, and then we will hit inject payload. Once I hit inject payload, as you guys can see on the left hand side of the screen, the payload was sent, and for System Software 12.02. Now I do want to point this out real quick, that there is no Hen that I know of, which is the latest Hen 2.2b for System Software 12.02. It should be coming shortly, so once we get the latest Hen, you can then use that instead, and you will see ETA Hen. For right now, we are on the previous version, which is why you see the debug settings. As you guys can see in the background, I just simply close out my game, and I'm going to test to make sure that all of my homebrew apps are working properly. So I'm going to test out the homebrew store with the internet on, and it should work no problem. As you guys can see, it's starting up, it is loading, and everything is all good. Now I also want to point out, prior to doing the upgrade to System Software 12.02, I was on 11.00. As far as my homebrew applications are concerned, I do not have to do anything, even though I updated to System Software 12.02. I'm also going to start up a game to make sure everything is working perfectly fine, and as you guys can see in the background, this should work, no issues, no problem. And once this is done, you're pretty much done. Now you know how to do the jailbreak or System Software 12.02. The only thing that's missing at this time is GoHen, and GoHen should be coming shortly in next week or the week after, and at that point we are good. I highly recommend, like I said to you guys before, if you are doing this jailbreak, make sure you save your IP address as far as the applications are concerned, And that's pretty much it. You're good to go. You know how to do the jailbreak, and everything should work perfectly fine. Another thing that I recommend for you guys to do is turn off your internet connection once you do your jailbreak, and also make sure that you check your system and your automatic downloads and make sure that all of those are checked off. At this point, once this is done, you now know how to do the jailbreak or System Software 12.02. If you guys have any questions, please hit me up in the comments. And as always, I thank you guys for watching my video and supporting my channel, and I will get up with you guys later. Peace.